Hey there to all our Millionaire Mindset Club members. Well, today is a special treat. We have the legendary Brett McFall. You know, people say he's one of Australia's leading internet marketer. I would say globally, he's a phenomenal internet marketer. He's the author of the 2 times best-selling book, How to Make Money While You Sleep. Brett, thanks for being on the Millionaire Mindset Club.
It's a pleasure because, you know, you have a lot of people who watch who really do know what they want in life. And I guess what I want to see if I can do, if I can answer your questions today in a way where I can give them structure, I can give them ideas and show them what, maybe in a small way, what I can just inject into their minds in this little episode here, the experience that I've had, so they can maybe do it themselves.
Brett, tell us a little bit, I mean, how did you build such a successful online business from, it seems, out of nowhere? How did you create that?
It was absolutely out of nowhere. It was 2002. 2002 there was no Facebook, there was no social media at all, no YouTube. There was Google, and I simply did the hard way, Pat. I did the hard way because I had to work everything out. There was no courses available to teach you how to do stuff. You had to work hard to do it. So thankfully these days it's not that hard. But I did it. So I saw that. I remember in 1998, in a place where I was working, at an advertising agency I was working, they got the internet on. It was a big deal. They said, all right, staff, we have the internet on. And I'm going, okay, what's this thing called the internet? I hopped on. I was there for an hour and I went, wow, I cannot believe what this is and what it's going to mean. I saw this massive picture. So that might have been a big difference. I saw the picture and all my other you know, fellow workmates said, yeah, it's okay, it's a bit of fun. I said, no, this is going to be huge. This is going to be massive. And I saw the opportunity. So then I thought, well, what if I could start a business on the internet? Because I was employed for a good period of 12 or 13 years there. I wanted to have my own business. And so I thought, what if I could do that through the internet? And that was the idea. And I simply worked out. And I then took myself across to America because Americans were starting to use it as a business tool. There was no seminars here at all. No training, no courses, nothing. So I flew myself to America, sat in economy, of course, right? And I'm eating chicken or beef. And I get there and I'm jet lagged. And I'm sitting through the seminar and I'm like, you know, I'm dozing off because I haven't got any, you know, I'm jet lagged, but I'm taking notes and lots of notes. And I knew what I was writing down. I thought, this is going to be able to change the course of my life. I didn't know I was going to create an education company out of it. I just knew this is where I think a business is going to be at. So that's how I learned. Just doing it, you know, years of really just digging in. And then as I started making money, then people, friends, you know, associates started asking me, well, hold on, how did you sell that course? Like I created a little manual. 90 pages long, put it in a folder, a ring binder, and it's called The Lazy Way to Advertising Riches, and I put it out there on my website. People started buying it. Wow. And I'd worked out how to take credit cards. I didn't even have a merchant account, but you know, you could actually take credit cards and then it was all secure, and then you'd go find a way to process them. And so I'd worked out a process there, and people asked me, well, how do you do it? And then I started showing people. I showed 19 people in a room once, the very first seminar in Penrith, and then I created a seminar company. I thought Australians need this, and the first event we held in 2004 sold out with 6 weeks to go. Wow. And it was like, you know, $1,000 a ticket because it was a lot of cost, so we had high ticket prices, and you know, so it was a massive, exciting, bewildering time, but we got the message out, and that company, that World Internet Summit, went for 10 years. Amazing. 17 different countries. Amazing. 5 different languages, all from a single idea, and I was blessed to be a part of it. I had good business partners, 2 other business partners, Tom Wire and Ted Siuba. We had a great time together and just rode the wave. A global phenomenon, actually, a total global phenomenon. Perhaps, yes. Why do you think you've succeeded and others haven't? And what's one of the keys for you in building a successful online business? I can tell you what it is that I do that I think is different. I'm not sure why that is me and it's not others, but what I do is I see the picture and then I take action to make it happen. I simply go and make things happen. You know, if I need to go and read something, I'll read that book. I'll watch that video. I will go and practice that skill. Whereas I do find that when I teach people nowadays, it's like I tell them what to do, and then between where I tell them and where they end up is totally different. They just don't take that action. So I would say that is the real reason. I get myself to take action very, very easily. It's not a problem. If you say I've got to jump over these 2 hurdles here to get to the goal, I'll say, all right, let's go. I went to the Tony Robbins event, the big, you know, the firewalk, right? And you know, on that first night, he makes you do a walk on hot coals. And I'm there with my business partner Tom, and everyone else is freaking out because he said, "You're going to have to walk across these coals." I said, "Okay, well, let's go." And everyone's going, no, no, no. And he's got to like pump the crowd for 3 hours. Wow. He's got to hype that crowd for 3 hours and show them the mental techniques they've got to use to get across the coals. Tom and I sit there going, well, let's just go.
That's right.
It's like, okay, you say it can be done. You told me the exact steps I've got to take. Let's just go.
Let's just go.
But that's how I
love that.
work. Right?
I love that.
And whereas Tom, my business partner, he's exactly the same personality. He said, well, I know how to do it now, let's go. And where other people had all these reasons why they couldn't go. They sensed fear, they sensed danger, they thought, there's no way I can do it, it's impossible, I'm going to get burnt. They thought about all the fear. Yeah. All the things that could go wrong. Yeah. I'm thinking about all the things that go right. So I see that as the reason why I think I've been able to achieve success, because I was an employee. I was working for someone else's dream, and I was getting paid $35,000 a year and struggling to pay my mortgage. I've been all that. So to have that shift, I simply, read a few things, learned a few things, and I thought, well, this is really much easier than people make out. You just need to do what you need to do.
People are professional procrastinators, really, aren't they? I tell people you can either make money or excuses, but you can't do both. And,
that's very true.
And it's taking that action, that's the bridge that keeps people, I think that inability to take action, overthinking things, and just even from what you said, you heard about the internet, you saw it, you took action, you went to America, you went to a seminar, you set things up. Yeah. What keeps Brett McFall motivated? I don't think I've ever seen you have a bad day.
They are very rare.
Well, what keeps Brett McFall? You're an educator, you're a teacher, you're an author. What keeps you motivated?
That's a very hard one for me to answer, because I just live it. I just love life. Like, I am not looking forward to the day where I depart this world. I love every single day. Yeah. And I like, when challenges come in, I'm okay with it. It's like, let's just tackle that on. I haven't had a perfect life, but had a good life. Had a great upbringing, good parents, nice, humble upbringing. Yeah. I think that meant a lot. That certainly set me up.
Sets you up pretty good.
I had nothing on here in my brain harming me, and holding me back. So that was a great start.
Great blessing.
And so I think it's very, very simple. And what gets me up, what gets me motivated, to me, life is motivating. I think it's very exciting to try and do different things, to try and do things on the internet. For one, that's what I do. But then I also teach people. I love the teaching. And people say, well, why are you teaching this? Because people often think, well, why are you teaching? What's your hidden motive here? Why are you teaching us? I'm thinking, well, at some stage, I wanted to know these things, and someone taught me, and that really changed my life. I'd like to change your life. Now, I can't step into your life and go into your home and just change everything. I mean, Jim Rohn has a quote. It's like, you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Right. And that's what I think I try and do. I try and change people's direction by what I know. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but what I do know has worked for me. If you would like to learn, I'm going to show you exactly what I did and what I think you should do in its place. And that gets me excited. You can probably tell, even right now, even just talking about the concept, this is where I need to be, because this makes me excited. It gives me a lot of pleasure to see people doing things that I know they can do, to be a better person. And you do a bit of this too. You do a lot of this, where you inspire people to be better, do more. And it's a very good occupation.
And it should be rewarding. It should be. I remember listening to Dr. John Demartini, and he said something. He said, those that help solve the biggest problems of humanity should be the greatest, receive the greatest reward financially. And I really believe that. I think there's a stigma sometimes where people think, oh, why don't you do it for free? And I go, because I deserve to be rewarded.
Well, I agree with you, and I've got a thought about it, and maybe you'll agree with me there too, and that, we have many people who, we have classes here at the centre which are extremely affordable. We're like the McDonald's of internet marketing,
absolutely.
It's affordable, right? But even that, some people say, can't we get in for free, or can't I share my profits with you afterwards? And so the answer is absolutely you can. That could be done. But the statistics show me something very different, because we can't even get people to take action sometimes when they pay a lot of money to do certain programs.
That's right.
Let alone when they don't invest. And I think there's got to be what I think someone calls, I forget the person who calls it, but it's hurt money in the deal. When you've got money invested, you turn up to the training for a start. Then you take the action necessary if you invest more. And because I did this, I know what it's like. When you've got money invested in something, you really do make sure you are motivated, right. You are up earlier, up later, you know what I mean? So,
and the principle, Brett, even from natural law, is you can't get a harvest until you put a seed in the ground. I've never seen a farmer get a harvest from a seed he never sowed. I mean, probably the only thing he may have got if he didn't sow it was weeds.
Sure.
And you've got to put something in the ground to get it out.
It's like you don't go into McDonald's, let's say, and say, well, I'd like to order XYZ meal, and I'll pay you after if I feel like it. And if I don't feel like, well, I'm not going to pay. You know, that is not, you know, you go into a restaurant.
I've tried that a few times, Brett. It didn't work.
You don't go into a restaurant without that intention to pay. You know, there has to be some exchange, and you know, like, so you know, it's like if people say to you know, can I get all the information for free? You certainly can search for stuff online for free, but there's a lot to search for. It will confuse you. It will overwhelm you. But,
that's right.
You know, it's really about making sure that you invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. This is a business.
That's right.
It was how I got ahead much faster by investing in myself and really learning. It's like, you know, the principle's flawed because, you know, if say someone comes to you, Pat, and they say, well, can I have all your training, all the stuff you've spent years creating, all the stuff you've created, can I have it all for free and pay out of my profits? Well, does that person then go to their customers and say, well, you can have all my stuff for free too and pay me when you follow it? No, it just the whole chain falls down. You know, so if you're wanting to make a business out of the internet, you're wanting to sell stuff and get paid, yes?
That's right.
So therefore you can't ask the people to train you to then give you all for free.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a mental concept. I think people hold themselves back.
It's actually a poverty mentality that people have, and which is something that we constantly fight with in the Western world. But I love observing your life, Brett, and you've been successful online, you're successful in a lot of areas of your life. What do you attribute your success to as a whole?
I think it could be many things. I don't know for sure because it's very hard to look at yourself, you know, when it is you. So, but I think perhaps...
Well, if people saw you from outside, what would they see?
I would hope they would see that I live by a certain set of values and principles, and I try and do it every day, but I don't get it right every day, but I always, every day I wake up and I try and get back to a certain set of principles, you know, and doing the right things in the right way, and doing, you know, so I'm not, you know, there's a lot of people who promise shortcuts, and I don't promise shortcuts. I can promise you a faster track. Yes. But anyone who's promising shortcuts, you know, when it comes to the online world, I find that stuff doesn't work. Right. So I try and do everything the right way, and I try and teach things. I tell you what I do. I think I'm very good at making things simple, and so I always pretend that the person I'm talking to is 8 years old, and that way I always. You might call it dumbing down, but it's to make sure that everything is explained in a nice, simple way. And I might use graphics, or I might use a simple way of explaining it, or I might use, you know, a joke to get a point across. Like, for instance, like, you know, when it comes to an internet business, you shouldn't be doing all the work. But a lot of people think that you should. You know, like, because you can learn how to, you know, design your website. You can learn how to write copy. You can do it. But I say don't do it, you know, because you want to outsource everything. And so how I make that simple is, you know what, the concept is be the general of the army, not the soldier in the trenches. The soldier's always busy doing all the grunt work. The general's always controlling all the pieces. Be the general of your business. So I try and create concepts that make things simple and easy for people to understand.
You're incredibly focused. Again, one of the things that I say to people is children are great observers and not so good interpreters, where adults should be good observers and relatively good at interpreting. I watch you in different scenarios, and you're like, even before an event, you're there, you're speaking to yourself, you're talking to yourself. How do you maintain focus?
I live a very simple life. And I think it's all about balance. You know, what's important to me is important with time, important to have time with family and friends that I really value. To me, that's just everything. You know, I don't really crave physical things. Physical things can be good if you have an experience with that physical thing, like say, you know, like I have a boat, a speedboat. Well, to me, I don't want to go out on my own. I want to be out there with other people. I want to enjoy the experience and to enjoy Australia and the waterways, say here in the Gold Coast. You know, for me, it's all about experiences. Those things drive me in terms of, you know, what's at the end. You know, the end game, the end goal, and to go places and travel. I love all. So I'm very simple, I think, in terms of things I want to do. But then the core thing comes back to, if I was just sitting here in my centre and I was working away on my computer, doing internet marketing and making money, that to me does not sound like a good deal. That doesn't sound like a good vision. It just doesn't make me happy. So I set it up as a class. You're sitting in a classroom right now, where people come in, they bring their laptop computers and they learn. And I sometimes teach, and I have other people who teach as well. And it's like, that to me is a worthwhile thing to do. So that to me, but again, it's very simple. Let's teach people how to do it, and let's have no BS. There's no BS in our classes.
You focus on results?
Absolutely, results.
What about the journey? What's it like in the journey?
The journey for students or the journey for me?
For you, personally.
For me. So what would be your question? Sorry, what would be your question about me?
You know, in life we all go through journeys, and we all have our bends and curves and everything that we go through in life. And when you're in the middle of something, or you start something, is there a thought process that you use?
There is.
How do you chunk it down? Do you dumb it down?
Yes, very clear vision. I have to have it all clear up here first. Like I cannot talk about it with other people until it's clear up here. And I might draw it or I might type it in, but it has to be, I have to see, you know, from point A through to point Z, I've got to be able to see that clear picture, and then I go, well, now I'm excited. Like there's something I'm working on right now, and I can't even tell people about it. It's like I've got to get this last bit finished in my head, and that's how. And I've actually had a personality test by a university in America, and luckily they found one. They set up that. So I've got. But it was a personality test in that it showed me what my strengths and weaknesses were, and one of the strengths they call it is that I tend to internalise. Like I'm not someone who blabs. I'm not turking all the time. I tend to internalise things, and I tend to think about things. So for me, I will actually think about a whole concept in my mind, and then go. Then teach, you know, or then bring other people in. I don't do that at the start. I don't say, look, there's something here about blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is, let's talk about it. That is not how I work. I tend to think...
I've noticed that.
Whereas I think, you know, perhaps you're an inclusive. You're an inclusive.
Absolutely.
I'm an internal. You're an inclusive. Right? So for me, that's worked. For me, that's worked,
To our Millionaire Mindset Club members, just a little... I go to Brett, I've got $1 million idea. I think make us $2 million. And Brett goes, oh... Let me churn it through and think it through. So half an hour later, have you thought about it anymore? But can you imagine if you were on my team, what you'd have to put up with?
you have to manage a different way. Like I'm sure your team would have to manage it a different way than say.
But isn't that the beauty of humanity?
It's awesome.
That we're different and we're all colourful and all magnificent and all. There's a wonder to it all.
I think the person watching should say, okay, well, there's Pat's style's different from Brett's style, and different levels of success. So if you want to take away from this, don't try and be like, let's say, Pat or me. Don't be try and be like us in any way, or don't try and be like Tony Robbins or whoever you look up to. Find your own way, and adhere to some certain principles too. Like you have to complete stuff. You have to have a vision of where you're going, and you have to complete it.
That's right.
No completion, no results.
That's right.
You know. So.
Are you driven?
Am I driven? I think I'm semi-driven. I think that I could have a multi-million dollar company under me, but I'm refusing to do it. And I could have offices in various countries.
See, when you say that, my little mind goes, let's go.
And so that's me, though, right? So because then that takes away from my life. I want that. If the more I create, the less time I'll have with my 2 little boys, less time I have with my wife, less time I have with family and friends. So to me, there's only so much money you can use and enjoy. So I think, well, what can I do that gives me an awesome lifestyle and gives me balance? And if I get out of balance, then it's not worth it. The money's not going to be worth it at all. So
beautiful, Brett.
I see the Mark Zuckerbergs and I see all the big visions, and I think that's awesome. We need people like that, but that's not me because I won't be happy in that. I know I won't be happy in that environment if I don't have this lovely home life. If you know what I mean, it has to be that balance.
Let's go back to when Brett first started in business. What do you wish you...
I had luscious hair back then.
Oh, it looks great now. Baldness is a solar panel for a sex machine, they say, but we'll edit that out. What do you wish you knew before you started your first business?
Gee, this is one big thing I wish I knew. And so I had this vision of having a business, but there was no people in my life that I could talk to who were business owners. No mentors at all. No family, no friends. So it took me a while to get. I didn't have that access to that community or that mindset. Like I would have loved to have been around you when I was 21. You know, because you would have shown me ways to think that would have saved me 10 years. You would have saved me 10 years. Those are 10 years I can't get back. So I have some regrets there about not taking enough action early enough. Right. So I wish I knew back then what made me tick or what makes humans tick. And it's very simple. You know, we are gravitating towards things that give us pleasure, and we are running from things that cause us pain.
Correct.
All the things we hate, we're running away from. All the things we love, we're going towards. And so I was focusing on starting a business and it being a painful experience. Well, what if it fails? What if my idea, no one really wants it? What if nobody buys? So I was thinking about all the stuff that would go wrong. Hence, I didn't start a business for 10 years.
Wow.
That's a very simple principle, right? That's what I wish I knew. Whereas I thought if I had to change the way I was seeing things, I could have seen that, well, what's it costing you to stay in a job? There's a cost to staying and there's a cost to leaving. What if your employer happens to fire you and you're out of a job? And I got fired. I did get fired. So I found out once I had that pain of, well, hold on, staying where I am and where I was going to be painful. Then I realised, well, I might as well start a business because that's something I can have a go at and can control in some way and give 100%. So that would be the one thing I wish I'd learned earlier, and I try and teach that to people pretty quickly when they come in contact with me too. As
an educator and a teacher, you've obviously got to fill yourself up. What's What's a favourite book? I mean, besides Pathways to Prosperity or Wake Up and Dream or Dream Is Never Sleep, classic books that I've written, what would be one of your favourite? And feel free not to mention mine, but what would...
Well, obviously that goes without saying. 2 books only, and I reread them and I reread them. So I've read a lot of books, and only 2 do I have constantly on my bedstand, like it's right beside me. On my bed, beside my bed there. 2 books that are always there, and if I lost them, I'd go and buy them again tomorrow. 2 books. The first one is Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. The structure I found in there, I still think that is like, it just step by step, I love that. And then the second book is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Showing you the principles of what it takes to be effective in any way, maybe business, maybe personal, whatever, right? And so there are certain principles that we need to live by as humans to be happy.
Yes.
You can't deny this. No matter which country you're from, religion you follow, there are certain principles you need to follow in order to be fulfilled.
That's right.
And if you don't follow these principles, then there's something lacking in your life. So this is not, it's for every single human. So I thought Stephen's book showed me how I could get my life in balance and enjoy every part of it. And Tony Robbins showed me how to get my brain to make that happen.
Wow.
So they fitted together for me, and that really spoke to me. It really worked for me very well.
Best piece of advice Brett McFall ever got?
So many, and it all goes into a blur, because at this point in my life, like I've now been in a business now since 2002, it's all a blur. It becomes like, wow, I got so many people. And I used to say, I used to socialise with all the business owners. So at World Internet Summit, I'd have like the 10 to 14 of the world's best internet marketers. And so I'm gleaming what they're talking about. I'm talking to them at dinner, at lunch, and you're just gleaming. So it doesn't come down to like, he said this, he said that, right? And so I got so much information, so much that I can't even tell you, well, John said this and Peter said this to me. What I can tell you is this, is that A, you must hang around people that have got the results you already want. So that means going to seminars at the very least. I'm not saying like just latch onto people and become their friend when they're not even your friend. No, no, no. I'm saying get around people as much as you can who are... The atmosphere is very important. And then, if you can, get involved with them in a course, because then you're closer to them. You're getting... I want to see... Like, if I was a student here, I'd be saying, well, what does Pat think? And how does he think? So what does he think? How does he think? And then how does he turn that into action? And I would try and follow you. I'd say, well, what actions is he taking? And does what he what he says, does it match up with these actions? And that's what as a student, that's what I would do. Okay? And so that's what I've done for the last 10, 12, 13 years. I've just followed all these people who are around me and listening and gleaming it all. So that would be my answer, right? The second answer I have is this, is that I used to play cricket when I was growing up. And I loved it, absolutely loved cricket. And I got to a stage where I was fairly good at it, purely because of hard work. I wasn't gifted at all, I just hard work. And I would recommend, and I know that not everybody can take this advice, but I would recommend anyone who's growing up should play cricket, at least for a year. Here's why. Girl or boy, doesn't matter, just play cricket. Because there are some sports that, like say, that teach you to be arrogant, you know, because you can kick a goal in soccer and you're the big striker and you can walk around and you get paid a lot of money. But if you have a bad game, no one really worries because you'll kick a goal next time, right? What cricket showed me was something different, because in cricket you could never get a big head. You can never become arrogant in cricket. And you'll find that with cricketers, you know, at any point you see a cricketer who is, like in national cricket, who's at least arrogant, a little bit arrogant, bang, they're about to fall, because you cannot take that arrogance into a game.
That's right.
So I like that about cricket, right? And it showed you that you had to keep your eye on the ball. And I mean, if you were batting, and if you don't know how to play cricket, that's okay, just take the principle I'm showing. A ball is bowled to you and you have a bat. And if you don't watch the ball right until it hits the bat, you're often going to get out. If you stop watching it there, then the ball could shift, right? And you miss it, or you nick it and you're out, right? Hits the stumps, right? So for me, there's a principle there, in that you've got to watch that ball right onto the bat before you can score any runs, which means keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the details, and keep your eye on what you're learning, so that, you know, if say Pat shows you 5 steps, do something or other, then don't just do 4, do 5.
Do the whole 5.
Because if you change the recipe of the chocolate cake, you end up with a different chocolate cake.
Right, exactly.
So that's the sort of things I think that, in terms of advice that I've learned from, I've learned them over a lifetime of ways and books and everything, and in being around people like you, I still learn things every single day. So be a learner, that might be the principle. Be a learner, constantly learn, Brett,
it's always a joy talking to you. I always find you an incredible intelligent, fascinating entrepreneur, and it's always a great joy to connect with you. You always bring out the best in people, and I want to thank you for being a gift to this planet, and thank you for spending some time with our Millionaire Mindset Club members.
It's my honour, thank you, and I certainly hope that anything I'll be able to share today has helped your viewers very much.
Well, there you go, Millionaire Mindset Club members, the great Brett McFall. Make sure, if you hear that Brett's in town, go and see him, get his stuff, engage with him. He'll change your life. Thanks so much.